I recently shared a video and I was putting on some makeup and I was telling you all that my skin was peeling off like a snake. And some of you asked, well, what is making your skin peel off like a snake? So that's what I'm gonna share with you. For today's video, if you want to know what I'm drinking, I shared this quick little recipe that I found online. So just fast forward to the end if you want to see what this yummy little sugar-free, calorie-free concoction is. All right, so if you're new to my channel, welcome. I share a ton of skincare content, some makeup. I'm not a makeup artist and I'm not an expert in skincare either, but I'm 53 years old and I've been testing a ton of different skincare products, golly, since I was in my mid-20s when I developed a hyperpigmentation on my face called melasma, which is triggered more from hormones, the sun, of course, different things in our environment and all of that fun stuff. So for all of these years, I've been battling it and I've learned how to maintain it quite well. But not only did I also develop that lovely condition called melasma, I also developed adult acne. And when I say I had acne, I don't even have photos. That's how, honestly, I was so embarrassed because it was just such a shock to me. I always had clear skin all my life. But when I developed this adult acne in my late 20s, I had at one point like 40 or 50 some cystic, huge cystic acne spots on my face that was once just beautifully clear. So I went to multiple dermatologists and they were all like, oh yeah, we're gonna put you on this medication, that medication. One dermatologist within I didn't even sit in the chair, within seconds of me walking in his office, he was like, oh, Accutane, that's what we're gonna put you on. And I was just like so overwhelmed with all of this new stuff happening with my skin and not realizing it was, you know, hormones and things like that, triggering a lot of it. And so I went on this huge, I mean, it was like I did my own college course at home, studying and researching and trying to find every little tidbit of information, but I didn't want to figure out how to treat it. I wanted to figure out how to prevent it and get to the root cause. So I have a ton of other videos here on my channel talking more about hyperpigmentation, melasma, age spots, sunspots, wrinkles, crinkles, all that fun stuff. And then I do have some videos on acne. Now I know a lot of women, like I said, I'm 53, so probably most of my viewers are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, you know, around there. And I know that as we're older, a lot of us don't even get acne, so this might not even pertain to you. Perhaps you have a teenager or you know someone in your family that's dealing with this, because like I said, I went to multiple dermatologists. And I'm not saying they were bad doctors, but they were bad for me because none of them wanted to figure out the root cause. They instantly just wanted to give me medication. And for me, I think medication can be a great thing for certain things. But sometimes, don't we want to figure out what's causing it and then just kind of prevent that instead of dealing with taking medications to just kind of band-aid and mask the symptoms? I feel like the majority of our healthcare nowadays is not necessarily trying to heal and get to the root cause of problems. It's just, let's mask the symptoms and let's just quickly give them, you know, some crazy medication and we don't even know if it's gonna help. And we don't even know what the side effects are. So that's what I did. I just started doing so much research and, you know, I played around trying different products on my face. And I have taken my skin from this horrible hormonal hyperpigmentation, and I even had, you know, some acne then. This was maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, to how my skin is now. But if you look at my skin today, I feel like my melasma is a little bit darker than it was just last week. And there's a reason for that. And again, the melasma is this hyperpigmentation in the skin. And a lot of times we think hyperpigmentation is just what we see on the surface. But one thing I've explained in many videos, because some people are like, why are you using so many different ingredients or products for your melasma? And the reason why is because one ingredient might only deal with the pigmentation on the surface of my skin. And then this other ingredient might help block that formation of excess darkening pigment. And then another ingredient might work deeper down on another mechanism that can trigger the hyperpigmentation and melasma. So hyperpigmentation and melasma for a lot of people can be triggered from many different, there's different pathways. So if we just think, oh, we're just gonna use this one ingredient and fix our melasma, and then we're like, darn it, why didn't my melasma go away? That's probably why, because there's different pathways and different ways that our melasma is formed, and sometimes we might see that pigmentation just kind of slightly on the surface, and maybe just a good exfoliator will help lighten that. But sometimes that doesn't work, and that's because a lot of times our pigment, like mine, starts really deep down. And so For example, somebody might go and have skin like me, and they might go and have this great deep peel. And then after their skin sheds off, they're like, oh my gosh, my pigmentation is gone. And their skin looks so pretty and clear. And then about 2 months later, they're like, what the heck? I have all this darkening pigment on my skin again. That's because all they did was address the pigmentation that was showing on the surface of their skin, but now it made those melanocytes really angry, deep down. And then they started working their way to the surface and probably even darker than what their pigment started out with before. I hear that all the time with people that are like, I tried this really intense product and it got rid of my melasma, and then 2-3 months later, my melasma just came right back, but with a vengeance. So that's why you might deal with that on your own, or that's why you might have heard stories like that happening. Now, I have another video that's probably 3-4 years old that really takes a deep dive and goes in great detail using layman's terms, not, you know, big words that nobody can understand. I think it's very simple, very easy to understand for someone who's like, what is melasma? Why am I getting this pigmentation? What's going on with my skin? And it will probably help you understand really all of the details about melasma, because I just kind of skimmed over the surface just now. So I will put that other video up here. Again, it's like 4 years old, but it's got a lot of good information. In today's video, I wanted to share with you why my melasma is, in my opinion, I mean, I can see it, it's a little bit darker. And even when my melasma is light, it's never gone. It's just, you know, lighter. So it's still lighter, obviously, now than what it was in this photo that I popped up a minute ago. But not only is my melasma kind of peeking its way to the surface, but I have a couple little healing pimple marks. They always leave little scars on my face temporarily until I get rid of them. So I want to share with you something that I actually did that made my melasma darker, and it's okay, you know, it's annoying, but I know how to lighten it back up again. But I want to share with you what I was doing. I was using an acid, and I'll share with you what acid I was using and what was making my skin shed off and peel. I mean, my skin, this is like baby skin now, but of course with fresh excess pigment. Now, if you don't have this pigmentation issue, then it probably wouldn't happen to you. But I also want to share with you my #1 holy grail supplement that I am never without. Like, if I'm traveling, I don't even put this. And I don't even take a ton of supplements anymore. I used to, but now that I've changed my diet and gotten rid of inflammation, I don't eat sugar anymore. And my carbs are like so low, like less than 15, 20 carbs a day. So I really just don't take that many supplements anymore, because I've realized, I don't need them because my diet is so good now. You know, why supplement to what my diet is if my diet's already covering, you know, the basics? But there is one supplement that, I mean, if I travel, it is with me on my person. I don't put it in my suitcase. It is always in my little carry-on bag, because I would just be devastated if I didn't have this supplement with me. It's one supplement that I am, for now in my life, never, ever gonna be without. And this is the supplement that when I was in my late 20s, when not only I developed the melasma, but this is the supplement that when I developed the horrible acne and all the doctors were trying to give me medication, I found this website, like, on like the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th page on Google. It wasn't something that easily popped up. I had to keep searching and searching. And it was like a chat room or whatever with a bunch of women who dealt with acne. I'll see if I can find it. I don't even know if I know the name of it anymore, but they're the ones that everybody started raving about this supplement. And so I was like, I'm gonna try it. And it was life-changing for me. Like I said, I have no photos because I wasn't doing YouTube then either, so why would I have taken photos? But within 5 days, all of the cystic acne flattened. Like, it just was like disappearing. And then of course it leaves scarring on my face, not like deep pockmark scarring, but it left, you know, like the redness. And then of course that took time, months and stuff for me to fade that. But when I don't take this supplement, even though I'm now 53 years old, I don't get periods anymore. I haven't had one for a year and a half. So I'm technically in menopause. But what's interesting is around that time of the month, I still have the same initial symptoms, like, you know, when you know you're about to start. But I do still get that hormonal acne. Not crazy bad like I did when I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. But I still will get, like, I got one here on my neck, here. Like, I get them around my jawline. If you get any acne around here, jawline, chin, that's usually from hormones. So I do still keep this with me at all times, because it's not that I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a pimple, I'm so vain. But I mean, who wants to have pimples all over their face? But for me, when I get acne, since I have the melasma, that type of hyperpigmentation that's triggered from hormones, sun, heat, friction, inflammation, when I get a pimple, they leave this inflamed red or brownish mark on my skin, and I of course have to do things to try to get rid of it. So I try to at least prevent it. And like I said, sometimes, because I like to test it out to see, like, are my hormones, you know, changing? Would I still break out? And so sometimes I will stop taking this supplement just to see. And of course, when I don't take it for a couple months, then it's like, oh, there's that pimple. So the first sign that I get a pimple now, I take this. So I'm gonna share with you that supplement also. And if you're like, would she just shut up and show us all of the products? No, I don't like to do videos like this and just say within the first 5 seconds, this is the supplement I take for this and this, because then what happens is people will just rush to buy it and then they don't listen to anything, and then they might mess up their whole face altogether. So when it's dealing with things like acids or supplements, you know, sure, you could have just fast forwarded to the part where I share, or just look down below and click on a link. Sure, you can do that, but you're doing that at your own risk if you don't at least listen to what I'm explaining, because in my opinion, I think it's quite important to at least listen to why would you even want to take a supplement like that? Or why would you even want to put that type of acid on your face? Again, I'm not a doctor, or even if I were a doctor, I don't know anything about your beautiful face. I only know what works best for me. So I never want somebody just immediately saying, well, if it worked for Sherry, it's gonna work for me, let me buy it instantly, and not doing any research. That's something I never do, unless it's like, you know, lip gloss or something. So I caution you, just don't rush and buy everything I share in any of my videos, or any YouTuber, influencers videos, until you talk to a doctor that you trust for your beautiful face. First, let's talk about my pigment being darker and why you should not get discouraged if this happens to you. Is it annoying? Yes, but it's not the end of the world. I was using an acid because my face started breaking out and I wasn't using this magical holy grail supplement, which I'm gonna talk about here in a moment. So I was using an acid, not one that exfoliates necessarily on the surface, but a type of acid that goes deep down inside my skin to basically chemically clean out the inside of the pores, or to keep the pores clear so that they don't cause more acne. And it's a fabulous product also that works, like, say maybe you don't get acne here, but maybe you just have a lot of blackheads or those sebaceous filaments on your nose. And, you know, don't be squeezing, doing that and using those strips, ripping it off, because we don't want to damage the health of our actual pore by doing all of that. You know, once in a blue moon is probably fine, but using those strips all the time, that's quite aggressive for the inside and the health of our pore. So maybe you don't even get blackheads anymore, but you're like, my pores are so stretched out. It could be from using all of those strips that rip, you know, the life out of your pores. That's why I really never have blackheads, because I always use great products for my pores. But there's a product that I've used ever since I was actually in my late 20s, and it was like a holy grail back then. And it's this one right here from Paula's Choice. And I always have one of these on hand, because usually about, I'd say once a week, once every couple weeks, I do use this on my face, kind of like a toner. Or I will just, you know, put it on my hand, or, you know, you can take a cotton swab. I don't like to use one that big and waste product, so I just kind of cut them little, or just, it's just like a liquid. I'll just show you what it looks like. It's just like a liquid, and then you just can put it in your hands and then just kind of rub it on your nose, and, you know, use it in like your toner step. And it's fantastic within like a week or two. If you do have those pores or blackheads, or, you know, larger pores around your nose or this area, watch what happens. It's kind of gross, but it's pretty darn amazing to see what this product can do, because it's got a high amount of that acid in that cleans out the inside of the pores. But if your skin is not accustomed to using this, you don't want to use it all the time. So like I said, normally I use it just like once every week, every 2 weeks. But when I hadn't been taking this supplement I'm going to show you, and I started noticing like, oh my gosh, I've got like this deep red cystic bump, and I've got one here and here starting to form, I was like, oh, I'll start using this every day, which I know better. Like, hello, I know better. But sometimes we have that idea of more is better, and that's not the case. So if you are gonna start out using something like this is phenomenal. Like I said, I've used it since I was in my 20s. I cannot even count how many of these I've purchased over the years. But if you are gonna use something like this will make your skin on the surface also shed like literally like a snake, like snake skin. And of course the skin afterwards is like beautiful, but it's annoying because then your makeup's gonna look like crap for like a week while it's peeling off. And this is also what has kind of caused me to have a little bit more pigment, because since this is, it's quite aggressive, and my skin not only was peeling, but then it started kind of getting irritated. And so any irritation is inflammation in the skin. And so for me, since I have really rude melasma, anytime my skin gets just slightly irritated, that pigment starts to darken up. So, I mean, it's not that bad. I can cover it up with makeup, but my melasma is more so like here and here, and you can, the kitchen light's beaming, but it kind of goes right across here. And also, since I started getting these pimples, and this would be that time of the month for me, where my hormones, you know, my estrogen's higher and all of that, that also triggers the melasma. So I shouldn't say it's this caused my melasma, because it doesn't cause melasma at all, but it's just, I was too aggressive with it. If I would just stick to using it maybe twice a week instead of doing it every single day, you know, like I said, I know better. But this is a phenomenal product if you have acne, or if you have, even if you don't have regular acne and you just want to make your pores and you want your nose to look so glowy, smooth, snatched, and not even see the pores, this is a holy grail for that. But again, don't do what I did. Don't do it like 5, 6, 7 days in a row. Just use it once a week starting out, and then after a few weeks, if you're like, okay, my skin, it's looking pretty good, no shedding, no irritation, then bump it up to, you know, 2 times a week, and then, you know, keep working your way up, but do it very gradual, and you are gonna be blown away at the results. This isn't crazy expensive. This was only like, I think, $12 back when I started using it when I was like 28. And now, I'm not sure how much it costs now, but it's significantly more. But if this is not in your budget, it's not that expensive, but I get it. Sometimes this just might not be in everyone's budget. I wanted to share with you a more budget-friendly alternative that has the same type of ingredient. This one I don't feel like is as potent as this, even though it also has the 2% salicylic in it. I just don't feel like this is, it's not as intense, and it's not as aggressive and not as fast acting as this one by Paula's Choice, but this is from Peach Slices, and this is their acne exfoliating toner. Again, when they name things like this, I think a lot of people my age are like, well, I don't have pimples. But if you have blackheads, or if you have large pores on your nose, or if you know, your pores just look stretched out, using something like this or with salicylic acid can work so well for that. If you also want the same ingredient, the 2% salicylic acid, and you want something that's a little more luxurious, I should have, instead of using this, I should have just used this one. This is from Medik8. This is their Press and Clear, and this is also 2% BHA or salicylic acid. And this is more, I feel like this is a lot more luxurious. That's the best word I can use. It does the same thing as this, and I do even, again, this one has 2% in it too, but I don't think that this is as strong. But this one is a gentle release salicylic acid. So instead of it just being like, bam, let's apply the acid deep into the pore like this one does, this one still gives me that high strength, and it works so well, but it's a gentle, like a slower release, and this makes my pores look phenomenal also. With this, I could use this a good 3 to 4 days a week, no problem. And again, it's like water. You could just use this as your toner step. So if I were to have stayed on my supplement, because I had been off it for a couple months, I probably would never have had any of these breakouts, because I never get a breakout when I stay on this supplement. So this is, there's 3 of them, but I'm gonna share with you what each one does. This is from Delgado Protocol. You've probably never even heard of it because nobody talks about it, because they probably didn't do all the research that I did back in my late 20s, 30s to find this. But you guys, when I say this is life-changing, that's not, you know, like I might say, oh my gosh, this lip gloss is life-changing. No, lip gloss is not life-changing. Taking something that completely clears up your face and makes you feel confident going out in public and just looking in the mirror is enjoyable. Again, not seeing all of those spots all over your face. This to me was life-changing. Now, listen, if you have stubborn acne or if you have spots on your face, you're still beautiful. I know that, I mean, it does sound kind of vain when we talk about what we see on our face, but we're human and we're ladies, and you know, nobody wants to walk around with acne if they can prevent it. But if you do have acne, don't worry, just have some patience. There are things that you can do to help clear up your face. And instead of me taking Accutane or the spironolactone like the doctors wanted to put me on, I did not take those. This right here is what completely got rid of my acne. So what this is, I have another video, so I don't want to go in great detail, but I have another video and I'll pop that up here if you want to know, to fully understand like what is happening with our hormones. Why would we even get pimples like that? Is it because we ate too much pizza? No, that is not why. And I'm going to explain in that other video in greater detail. But this product is called Estroblock. Now, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, but I need estrogen. This has nothing to do with our regular estrogen. What it does is it blocks fake things in the environment or that we're ingesting or breathing in or touching our skin that can mimic estrogen in our body. They're called xenoestrogens, and they're not our normal estrogen. So this is not like a hormone supplement or anything like that. Matter of fact, the doctor that I went to that wanted me to take Accutane, he was so blown away at my results. He was like, okay, give me the information. He wrote down all the info on the supplements. He's like, I'm gonna look into that so that I can actually recommend that to my patients, which I thought was pretty interesting, you know, that he wasn't just being prideful and like, you know, trying to tell me that medicine is the only cure. He understood, like, after seeing my results, he was like, yeah, that stuff clearly worked magic. There's so many things that we ingest or you know, things that we're around in the environment that can really mess with our natural hormones and kind of trick our body, and they're just basically fake hormones in our body, you know, fake things mimicking our hormones. And so that's what this does, is it helps block that and get rid of it. But when it's blocking it and getting rid of it, it's got to get out of our body somehow. You just don't want it to block it and then be like, okay, let's just keep circulating in the body, because guess what? It'll go right back and then it'll come out somehow in the form of acne. So even though this is the Mac Daddy supplement, I always take some sort of a liver detox or milk thistle. Now, I don't always buy this one from the same brand, but I do think that they work best together. You also want to make sure that you're having normal bowel movements also, because you just want to keep everything flowing properly out of our body. This doesn't, you know, mess with our digestion, but this helps detox all of those fake chemicals out of our liver so that it's not trying to detox out of our skin in the form of acne. In one little capsule, let me just show you what one looks like. Oh, they stink. They stink like broccoli. You know, like broccoli that's been cooked and then the house just stinks like broccoli. The biggest ingredients that are in here are cruciferous vegetables, the compound that's in them. This is like eating 5 pounds in one capsule. 5 pounds. There's no way you're gonna sit and eat 5 pounds of broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower every day. So that's why I take this one little pill. Plus, it's hard to extract that compound if you're just eating, you know, all of the broccoli. So that's why I love these. I mean, these are just, I'm telling you, this is magic in a bottle. I will buy like 5 or 6 bottles at a time because this sells out all the time, especially if, like I said, if I can find that website. The girls, there's hundreds of them. The girls that are on that website, they talk about how they stock up and hoard this also because, and I've tried other ones that have similar ingredients, and they just don't. They don't do the job. This works miracles super duper fast. So now one other supplement that sometimes I do like to include is their DHT block. You have really bad acne, and I think men can take this too, like if you have back acne, things like that. But this is also great if you deal with hair loss, because this also helps block that mechanism of making our hair follicles kind of shrink and fall out. So I actually like this probably more for like my hair, but I will take it in conjunction with these just to kind of help make everything work even better. Don't go take supplements. Don't just add a ton of supplements to your daily routine, especially if you take prescription medication. I don't take anything daily for prescription. So, you know, and the doctor said, of course, it's totally safe for me to take it. But again, I don't recommend that you take anything that you see on YouTube, even from my channel, until you do your research and you talk to your doctor to know what's best for you. Stay tuned if you want to see this recipe, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, for this recipe, I used one of my favorite flavors from my all-time favorite electrolyte drink mix. This is the brand Ultima. It's not sponsored or anything. I've tested so many of them, and this is the one I keep buying over and over and over because I love it so much. Instead of just drinking like regular water, if you're like, man, I hate water, but you want a 0 calorie, 0 sugar, yummy drink. This tastes like grape Kool-Aid without all those other crazy ingredients. But this also has the electrolytes. So if you're trying to do like a low carb or higher protein or higher fat type diet, a lot of times we lose our electrolytes a lot faster than we would like. So if you're kind of feeling sluggish or tired or just dehydrated, this is, I do like probably one of these a day. This is my favorite electrolyte. So here's the drink. I saw this online today. I'll pop it up on the screen to make it easier to read. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a non-alcoholic but super hydrating kind of mocktail. So perhaps you're going to like a holiday party or something like that, and you know, everybody might be drinking around you, but perhaps you don't really like to drink, or you just also want to stay super hydrated and not get shriveled up like everybody else is drinking alcohol. Just drinking these electrolytes by themselves is wonderful, but I mean, when I find a fun recipe, I wanted to try it. So I just mixed up 1 little scoop of the electrolyte powder and some water, and you know, oops, I'm spilling it, but I always like to drink it in a fun glass. And we don't have many glasses here. Got these at the Goodwill. So since we're just kind of staying here temporarily, and I'm too cheap to buy a bunch of household items if it's just a temporary thing. So anyways, I just put them in this pretty little wine glass. We don't have mint in the house right now, but I'm like, I have cilantro. So I love the taste of cilantro. So I'm like, let's just test that out and get that in there. And this is my drink, so yes, I can put my finger in it for anybody who has something to say about me putting my grimy fingers in the drink. It says to add blackberries, so I already washed these blackberries. These are just some organic blackberries, so why not just throw a few of those in there. It calls for some other spices, clove and all that, but I don't have any fresh cloves. I just have clove essential oil. I'm not sure if you're allowed to ingest that, so I'm not going to try it. So I'm just gonna add this bubbly because it says add some sparkling water. This is a 0-calorie, sugar-free bubbly or bubbly, however you say it. This is my favorite flavor. This is cherry, by the way. Okay, look how pretty this is. You could put a little straw in it if you want, or you could garnish it. Well, you know what? Let's just garnish it with a little blackberry, like they say. I don't feel like getting a knife, so we're just gonna squish it on the side of the cup. That would look pretty if you had like a little thing and put the mint in the blackberry, but let's just taste it. It's actually really yummy, but to be quite honest, I just like the flavor of this by itself without adding any of the extra stuff. But this does look, you know, fun and festive for like a holiday party. If you want to see my normal melasma skincare routine, the one that I really start usually the 1st of November, to really make a difference, to gently but really powerfully get rid of this pigment that you see on the surface and block those pathways of pigment starting deep down within my skin. If you want to see a daytime and nighttime routine, I'm going to pop both of those videos up here if you want to click on those and check them out.